Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to make a sprinting script, and what you're looking at right now is actually the end product. So if you continue watching, that's actually what you're going to be able to script. And this video was actually inspired by someone down in the comments. So if you'd like to suggest videos in the future, just drop down a comment down below. We're going to start out by making it shift to sprint, and then we're going to make it more advanced and have it so if you press W 2 times, it'll sprint. Let's first begin by playing the game, and I'm going to show you a couple things before we get started. So this is my character, and if you go under workspace, if you look at your character and if you click on humanoid, you can see that there's a walk speed, and that's actually what controls how fast you go. So if you're walking, that's how fast I am. But if I change this number to like 32, I'm a little bit faster. If I change this to 50, I'm even faster. So that's actually what we're going to be coding today. And instead of us changing it here in the properties tab, we're going to actually use code to make it work. Alright, so start off with going to starter pack and creating a local script. And the reason we're using a local script is because we are going to access things like the mouse, the keyboard, and the player. So start off with local user input service equals game get service user input service. Go to user input service dot input began connect function input object. If input object dot keycode equals enum dot keycode dot left shift, then print player press shift. Now what all of this does is basically we get a service called user input service, and we're doing user input service dot input began. So whenever the player presses a key or moves the mouse, if Roblox receives input from the player, then this stuff will execute. Up until here, the Roblox has detected the mouse moved or the player pressed a key or the player gave some sort of input. Now what we're doing here is we're checking if the player pressed a key and the key is actually left shift. Then we can say the player pressed shift. And we should also get a player object. Okay, so now if I press shift, it should print that I press shift. Alright, so player press shift. Now if I press right shift, it won't do anything. So if you want right shift to work too, then you should do or input object dot keycode equals enum dot keycode dot right shift, and that will fire for both left shift and right shift. Now I just want to limit it to left shift, so I'm going to keep it like that. Okay, so now we've detected the player press shift. Now what we want to do is increase their walk speed. So just like I showed in the beginning of the video, we need to do player.character.humanoid.walkspeed equals and local sprint walk speed equals, say, 48. We're just going to set it to sprint walk speed. We can get rid of this. So now I'm walking, and if I press shift, I'm walking faster. Okay, but now there's no way for me to go back to my normal speed because we never coded that. Let's figure out how to code that. So we have input began, and there's actually something called input ended. So user input service dot input ended connect. And what we can do is we can actually copy this. We can say local normal walk speed equals 16. We can just set it back to the normal walk speed. So if they press a shift, set it to sprint. If they let go of the shift, then set it to the normal walk speed. I'm pressing shift and I'm letting go of shift. Okay, so as you can see, it's working fine. Now let's make this a little bit more advanced. What I've noticed is in some games, they'll actually modify the camera. So what they'll do is if you're sprinting, they'll set this field of view to like 90. So it looks like you're sprinting. Then when you let go of shift, they'll set it back to 70. So that's what we're going to be doing. So we'll go back to the local script, local camera, local space that current camera, camera dot field of view equals, then we'll make another variable. Camera sprint field of view, local normal camera OV, and now we can just do that. We can take this and put it here. Now we've got the field of view for when you're sprinting and the field of view for when you're not sprinting. Okay, so sprinting, not sprinting, sprinting, not sprinting. Now, as a challenge, if you want to learn more scripting, I would suggest trying to add tween service to this. So if you want to enhance your scripting skills, you should watch my tween service video and try to add tween service. So instead of doing it so instantly like that, it would slowly go back. So now we're going to make it so if you press W 2 times, it'll sprint instead of pressing left shift. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to change this left shift to a W. And for this, let's not worry about this. So for right now, if you press W, what it's going to do is it's just going to initialize the sprinting. So I'm pressing W and I'm sprinting. And there's no way of going back since you erased that code. So I'm going to teach you something called tick. What I'm going to do is print tick. And what this does is it's just going to return a number. And the number is actually some number of seconds that have passed since some time in the past. So if you continue printing this, if I continue printing this like this, you can see that this number right here, this end number, is changing by 1 every single second. So every second, that number is counting up. So that's pretty important, because what we can do now is local t equals tick. And remember, this will just give the number of seconds that have passed, and that number is always changing. So local t equals tick, and then if you do wait 1, print tick minus t. This will print a value close to 1. So what we're doing is we're setting t to some number, and this number grows just like you saw. And after we wait 1 second, we're printing whatever the current tick is minus that number. So that is basically the delta time, or the time that has passed since we made this variable. So that should print 1. See, 1. And if we don't wait, this is how fast Roblox executed the code right here, since there was no wait here. So once again, we have t, which is tick, the number of seconds that have passed in some event in the past, and we're printing whatever the current tick is minus that t that we got right here. So if you do wait 3, it will print a value close to 3. So it got t, it waited 3 seconds, and it print whatever current tick was minus t. So you're probably wondering how we can use this for the double tapping W. So what we do is we go back to the script. We can say local last W pressed equals tick. And now this will give us that tick value. And we can get rid of this code. We can, let's get rid of this, and let's change this to W. So now, they press W, we shouldn't do anything, because they've only pressed it 1 time. Now, once they've let go of W, we should set this last W pressed value to tick. So now it's going to start counting. So they pressed W, and we haven't done anything since this code is commented out. Now they've let go of W, and we're setting that value to tick. Now, if they've pressed W, and tick minus that last W pressed is less than or equal to a number, let's say 1, then we can begin sprinting. I guess, yeah, let's start with that. So this is basically the same thing that we just did. So we press W, nothing will happen. Press it again, started sprinting. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a variable for this. So we're going to say local time since let go of W equals this. So hopefully this is more clear than just doing a bunch of math here. And then local delta W threshold equals 4. And this is actually the amount of time that you have since pressing W to press it again to begin sprinting. So basically, you're going to have 1 second between when you first press W and when you let go of W to begin sprinting. No, actually, this is the amount of time that you have since letting go of W to press it again to begin sprinting. So you press W, and then you let go of it, and then that tick begins counting. And then when you press it again, we're doing tick minus that tick from earlier. And then we're making sure that it's less than or equal to that value right here, which will be delta W threshold. So basically, if the time since you last let go of that first W is less than or equal to that, so you basically have 1 second between pressing it once and pressing it again for sprinting to begin. I think that's the easiest way to explain this. This whole tick thing can get a little bit complicated, but yeah, this is just the time that you have between pressing it once and pressing it again for sprinting to begin. So if you set this to like 0.3, they have to press W twice in 0.3 seconds for sprinting to begin. So if you do W and you wait too long, press W again, nothing will happen. But if you do WW, it works. So that's actually the theory behind, that's actually the theory behind how all of this works. It's the time that you have since you let go of that W. So that is okay. So that's that. And I guess it might be better to put this, that's alright. Okay, so now we need to make the going back to normal speed. So to do that, we can just do what we did before. Set this to normal walk speed and set normal camera. There you go. So, see if this works. Press W, nothing happens. Press W, nothing happens. Press it twice, let go. Twice, let go. There you go. And that is shift to sprint, and also double pressing W to sprint. So as I said before, if you want more scripting practice, I would recommend using tween service with the script. Tween service will make that camera movement a little bit more smooth. And that is all I have for today. So if you enjoyed watching this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.